always dancing to our theme song.
We are always dancing. See, we don't even need a theme song. Hi, everybody. Welcome to If These Walls Could Talk. I'm Wendy Stuart.
And I am Tym Moss.
Oh, and how is everybody today? Well, you can't answer me right away, but
I can.
How are you today, Tim?
I'm actually wonderful. I even got my booster shot yesterday, and I'm still wonderful. I'm feeling good.
And you didn't, no reaction?
No, well, I had a little bit, but I'm good. I'm here.
Cool. I always run like 100 every time, even with a flu shot. I don't. It must be my body chemistry.
Yes. Well, they're introducing all that stuff and microchips and stuff.
So here we are. We're at PANGEA, our home away from home, every Wednesday, 2:00. But I've been here a lot lately. As a matter of fact, I am thinking of putting a cot in here. That's right. Did I tell you that?
with the little label on it, yes.
With a label on it. And that way I would not miss any of the fabulous shows that they are having here. As a matter of fact, Tammy Faye, who was amazing as Tamar, her show has been extended.
Yes,
there's January dates. I think there's a December date. And this Thursday, we've had him on our show. He's such an amazing talent. Kobe Cole.
Yes.
The infamous Kobe Cole is going to be here. I'm very excited. A whole bunch of us are coming. So if you're watching this broadcast and you're in New York, come on down to PANGEA. It's going to be great. Oh, and then, why else was I here? Well, it was Alan, who does all our lighting and is my amazing husband. It was his birthday.
Yes.
And we had a party for him here as well. So yeah, we had a lot of fun that night.
Yes, it was. That was a wonderful evening. That was very cool.
I invited everybody from our past, our present, and our future.
Yes.
Well, we don't know if they're going to be around in the future, but you know what? I take my chances. I have learned to take my chances.
Yes.
In life. So yes, what's new with you, Tim?
Well, this last weekend we did this show that I absolutely loved, which is called Reunion. We were in a theater festival down in the Lower East Side, and it was absolutely flawless. It was just great. I was so grateful to be a part of that. But yeah, it was very intense. It's a short play, but very intense. And there's talk that we'll be doing more with it. So cool. I'll keep everybody informed.
And that was at Teatro. What was the theater?
Teatro Latea. Yeah.
Teatro Latea.
Down in the Lower East Side.
Yeah, great little theater.
Yeah.
I've been down there as well. So, oh my gosh. Well,
our guest.
Well, I just I'm out so much. I just saw our guest at Robert Sosa had a big birthday party, and we showed our amazing guests his new single video. Was fabulous. I got to dance to it again. I got to pose with our guest on the step and repeat. But he's so amazing. This man is such an icon. He is the definition of a Renaissance man. I mean, he does it all. He's got a hot new single with a great video called Dance Again. And he's got more pots on the fire than I do when I do my pandemic cooking show. That's right. You knew him from the Village People, but you got to hear what he's doing now. He's a singer. He's an actor. He is, I told him I would tell everyone this, a culinary enthusiast while he embraces his cultural history and is contemporary at the same time. And he's hot looking. Now, how many people can you say that about without further ado? Felipe Rose.
Hi, Tim. Hi, everyone. Good evening. Good afternoon.
Oh, well, wherever time frame.
Well,
some people are in evening.
The time changed this last week. It's evening by like 4 o'clock.
Right.
I have to put these on, otherwise I can't see the screen. I'm like.
Well, you know what? You're not alone in that, but I'm completely vain. I can sort of see you, but any of the comments that come in on the side, I always have to have Tim. You know what I hate about this bitch next to me? The vision's perfect.
Oh, damn.
What is that with you?
I'll make next time we're together, Tim, I'm gonna have you read my menu.
Okay.
Oh, we all need those menu people that we depend on.
Yeah.
So you are so damn busy, okay? And in the middle of this crazy pandemic that we're still in it. But I remember in the very beginning, knee deep, and you in particular, you lost so many friends. And I would read that on Facebook, and how did you ever, in the middle of this, emotionally, what you were going through, create new work? Dance Again is new work, and it was born of the pandemic.
Well, thank you for that. The thing is that I was losing a lot of friends that I in the business and a lot in New York, and so I really just started, because I live alone and with my two cats. I really just didn't have anyone at home to talk to. So I was in complete lockdown by myself. So I was speaking to my backup singer, and I was crying on the phone, and I was saying, why me? Why me? Well, why is it? She said, no, honey, we're all going through this.
Yeah.
What you mean is, why are you losing so many? She said, well, I'm younger than you. Let me make it in simple terms, in layman's terms. She said, I've traveled the world very little. You, my friend, have traveled the world for 40 years. So your tree, your branches are deep in the earth, and your roots are deep in the earth, and your branches are wide across. So you know more people than we do. And it crystallized everything that she was saying. And then when I lost my producer from cancer, my producer of 30 years, Frosty Lawson, because he had 3 more chemo sessions to go, but they weren't letting people. They were putting off, all kinds of hospital procedures. And that's when in August, after the memorial service, I went into deep depression. And coming out of that, in November, my new producer, Tyler Safford, I was sending him stuff that I was writing and lyrics, because we were supposed to go back and go into the studio to record for the first time the year before, but then the lockdown came. And I believe that we all saw each other. I don't know if I saw Tim at the Glam Awards.
Yeah,
but
that's true.
And Chauncey, we were all together at the like in January, and that was also the last time that we saw our beloved Harry Gold. So God,
right, Harry, I know. It's crazy.
And so then I went up to the Ultimate Disco Cruise, and when I returned in March, boom, we were locked out. So I was writing all this stuff for my producer. He said, "This is dark. We need something happy from you." So on my birthday, went to the recording studio with our mask on, a little social distancing, and then we just sat there with another songwriter friend of mine that I've collaborated for years, and he asked me, "Well, what do you want to say? What do you want to sing about?" And I said, "Well, I think that what I miss the most is that we're not dancing. I feel like we should, when this is over, we need to dance again." He said, "Let's stick with that." And with that, as simple as that sounds, corny as it may sound, we went and started writing. And the first lyric that he gave me was, "Locked down, locked up, locked down, boxed up, fogged up." And the song, in 5 hours, we had the song. And we sat back in amazement that we came up with something. And he said, "I think we need to finish this up and finish recording it." And we did so, and we released it in Memorial Weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Which the timing was absolutely perfect on it too. But I have to, the timing was incredible. But even the telling of this story of how you created it, knowing, okay, as an artist, you were really being hammered. You suffered great loss. All right. All of a sudden, you're isolated in your apartment with your 2 cats. I mean,
my house,
you're also from the Village People. You're alone. All right. So your whole reality became something else. And yet, all right, the creativity is the thing that came through in the end. So it's I love the story behind it.
Thank you. And the thing is about the song is that even though it was written in January 12th of this year, there was talk already, because we'd already gone through a year of lockdown. So now we're in the beginning of this year. So in writing the song, I was looking ahead to us coming out of this. And that's why the song is almost like, when we were writing it and producing it, it was a foreshadow to where we are right now at this moment.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why do you think you were able to do that? That you I almost felt like it was like a prophecy, that song. Why do you think you were able to do that? What clicked off in your head that let you do that?
I saw that a lot of Zoom, then suddenly, like the year that we went into lockdown, Zoom became the thing.
Right.
And so everything that we were watching on the world, for that matter, 4 billion people were locked down in their homes. So everything that we were looking at was like what we are now. You're in one box, I'm in another. So when the people were performing and started to perform, like, Broadway artists were performing together, they were all on Zoom calls. And the same thing with a lot of country artists. So I thought, well, I don't want my video to look like that. I want to tell the story, and I want to capture that feeling of just feeling like you are alone, I'm alone, and we're all alone in our own space. Yeah. And I think that the visual aspect of the video actually came through, and I want to thank the Fiverr company, because other than my backup singer, the fabulous Ada Dyer.
Oh, she's gorgeous. Love her.
Right. And she also couldn't come to me because she was trying to grab work as a backup singer. She sings for Clapton, Patti LaBelle, like 100 people. Great singers in Chaka Khan in the industry. So then I couldn't get her to come this past summer to come and film her in the video. So I basically just said, sit in front of your mirror, take your phone, dial the number, take your mask off, and sing the song for me. And then she sent me the video. And so the Fiverr company, Fiverr, they gave me a list. I asked them what I was looking for. I told them what I was looking for. I was looking for dancers, and there are dancers around the world that they'll dance for your TikTok song, or they'll dance to your song. So the one girl that's actually dancing, she's in Bogota. The one kid doing breakdown dancing, he's in England, and then the other couple dancing on the steps, they're in Barbados. And then the guy in the pajamas in the room, that's my friend Todd, warden of top warden of FaceTime and Instagram, and he was in Queens. So when we received all the videos together, and then I got together with my social media coordinator, and we both, I ended up ordering all of my equipment because I had nothing at the house. So I was ordering lights and cameras and backdrops and all of that. I kept wondering, I kept asking her last year by March, going into April, where's my stuff that I ordered? She said, it's coming from China. So basically, now that we were all set up, I was able to, of course, record and film and record myself with backdrop, blue screen, the look with the glasses and this necklace and a t-shirt, and then my new image, my disco poppy image, which I love.
My disco poppy. I love that. That's great.
I wanted that to be a departure, because the imagery that many people have had for 4 decades of my indigenous heritage was so ingrained in their brains that I didn't want to look like that. And so, full departure. And this is not the first time I've recorded solo. I've had recorded 4 previous times with and won 4 Native American Music Awards. So, but that wasn't like a commercial pop song like this is. And so the look was very important, and my godson styled me. And so he just said, let's go with a fedora, let's get the jacket and all that. I got 3 good uses out of the outfit at the Star Union City, the video, the Star Union City, and then last week when I saw you, I figured I might as well get another use out of it before I hang it up.
That's right.
Now, I'm one, I like to go back to the beginning.
Yes.
So most people, if you're just tuning in, this is If These Walls Could Talk, with your hosts, Wendy Stuart and Tym Moss, and our amazing guest, Felipe Rose, who is best known as the Native American in the Village People. Now, long before the Village People, can you tell us a little bit about where you grew up and a little about your parents and how did that lead into your interest in music?
Well, my mother, of course, she left Puerto Rico when she was 7 years old, and she arrived in New York City by boat in like 1937.
Wow.
She was 7 years old, and so she grew up in New York. She was a homegirl with all her girlfriends in school, and in high school she started cutting class because she met some girls that were going off to audition at the original Copacabana.
Oh my God.
That's so cool.
So
That
she
is so
quit,
cool.
so she went on an audition and she got hired and she quit high school. Although her Pentecostal mother was not happy with that. So she had enough money. She had enough money to move out, and going off to work, she decided to go up on Park Avenue because they were built the high rises that were going up. A lot of the tall structures in New York City were put up by and bridges were put up built by many Native Americans for the unknown reason, their lack of fear of heights. So she looks up and had to step off the sidewalk, this huge piece of girders coming down with this guy holding the cable. And I remember her telling me the story that she said he came from the sky. From the heavens.
Oh, really?
This guy with long hair, handkerchief, no shirt. It was summer. She forgot where she was going, she said.
I love it.
And then, so they met in 52, and then in 1954, I was born. And they didn't stay together very long because for some reason, he really thought that she was Italian because she's Puerto Rican and Italian, and somehow when he found out that that hot temper Puerto Rican temper,
you couldn't deal with it, right?
4'11", he ran for the hills. But I was raised in Brooklyn with her, raised in Brooklyn, in Brownsville, Brooklyn. Then we moved to Coney Island, and then because of the influence that I had through her. With as a small child, with all of these amazing artists from the Copa, she would go on weekends to Cuba, and they would take a yacht to Havana, to the old Tropicana.
Wow, cool!
Oh my God!
What she used to tell me stories that the dancers would come down from the trees in the original Copacabana.
These headdresses, my God!
The Tropicana Hotel right in Havana. So in the 50s, Havana was the place to go, like. We say Fire Island, like we say Fire Island,
right?
Or the Hamptons, and so she would perform in New York and also in various clubs, and so going home at that time of night, all these musicians would arrive and they would play music and sing, and I was this little kid, like 3, 4 years old, 4 or 5, hiding under the table, grabbing the drinks and drinking at that age. But I used to see my mother. I would be hiding, and I would see my mother run through the house with this long lace dress, and I could actually see her pull her hair, spray it like some silver color, more lipstick, and back out because the house.
Oh my God, I love it.
The perfect hostess.
Yeah, the house was full of dancers and musicians, and also I grew up with.
So you've always been around, entertainment. That's amazing.
Right.
So she's very supportive of you pursuing entertainment.
No, she was not.
No, she wasn't.
No.
Oh, that's really interesting. I'm curious. What did she want for this kid that was raised in this amazing environment?
Or because she had been in it, she wanted something better for you? Is that what?
She did, but she also didn't stay in the business long because of her Pentecostal mother. So then she met another wonderful guy that she stayed with for a long time, and had 4 sisters by him. 4 daughters, and so she kind of left show business, but she always left with that emptiness that she didn't fulfill her dream. So then when I told her that I was going to be as a teenager, and then I moved to the village, and then started auditioning, and I received a scholarship with the Downtown Ballet of Puerto Rico.
Oh, nice.
on the east side. And then I told her that I received a scholarship. She wasn't happy. She wanted me to really stay in school, go to college, to get a really great education and all that. And I just said, no, my passion is I want to do what you were doing. And when I told her, the really weird thing is that when I told her about Mom, I'm gonna be in a new band, on a band that I've been discovered, and they're building the band around me. I sort of like the fixture when they saw me dancing at the Anvil. The ex-producer.
He was in the Anvil, right? I lied.
Well, scholarship wasn't paying a lot of money. You basically you get free classes and you push a broom and you clean the school.
Yeah, right.
You needed something that would pay.
Yeah. Then I went and I ended up working at the Anvil, at the Gaiety Burlesque, at Boys New York, on 14th Street. So I was dancing and making money, supporting myself. But then when I was discovered, I told her that I was going to be in this band, and she made the sign of the cross, and she said, "Thank God you're not a woman. Otherwise, you'd be bringing home children from the drummer." I looked at her and I said, "Are you for real, lady?"
Now, so what was the audition process? How did that unfold for you to get? Did they reach out to you? How did you get into the Village?
Yeah, and also the person who discovered you, I can't remember his name, but I knew
Jacques Morali.
Jacques
Morali, and he saw me in the Anvil. He heard me first because I had sleigh bells. I had sleigh bells on my ankles, and then if you happen to be there at the Anvil, and you would see me either on the bar or on the main stage, you would look up and you'd see these moccasins with the Angora fur, and then you look up and you see the loincloth, nothing underneath the loincloth except like the day I was born, and then you see the breastplate and some stripes on my face of pain, and the headdress. So he discovered me, and when he said to me that he wanted to, in his French accent, that he wanted to do something with me, I looked at him like, doesn't everybody? But I was like,
get in line, get in line.
Attitude, and it was a DJ, the late Richie Rivera, when I pointed him out. And I said, that guy says that he's a producer. He said, and Richie said, he is. I'm going to play a song by the Ritchie family, called Quiet Village. And so I went on the stage and I danced. And then he just kept seeing me at Roseland, opening up for Vicky Sue Robinson. I would appear just basically, I would be hired to dance, and I would appear on these big nights, disco nights, like an apparition. There's the Indian up there.
Well, it was meant to be,
right? Because you were the pivot, though. See, this is the story here that people don't know. You were really the pivot point of the Village People. It really started with you. And what I want to know is, you were working at the Anvil. What made you decide to be Native American in your dress at the Anvil in those days? Because I knew the Anvil. What made that, and what made you do that?
Well, because my father is Native American, and I decided that I did not want to be one other dancer in New York City trying to huff it and puff it.
Smart marketing.
I decided, my hair was long anyway. I used to dress with the fringe jackets like in normal days in the village with cut off jeans and fringe jacket and moccasins. Right. I was pretty well tapped into that side of my heritage, but then I decided, why go out and why be in a dance school, and why go out on auditions as a regular dancer in just tights and ballet slippers or dance shoes when I started working at it was in Provincetown, the Arthur Blake show at the Crown and Anchor, where they were doing a bicentennial review, and they said to me, "Oh, and we have too many pilgrims here. Since you're half Native American, you're the they used to say the Indian." And
the honorary Indian.
That outfit from that summer, I then went back to New York, and basically, people were asking me, "What are you going to do when you go back to New York?" And I was just, I'm gonna go back and become famous, I was young.
Of course I am, right?
Young and fearless. I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna be famous.
I love it.
And really, the rest is history.
But if we can continue just real quick with I know there's several other subjects we want to cover, but of course, the Village People is a huge part of your life. I mean, now all of a sudden, the songs are being released. What was the first hit?
The first one, actually the first albums which was the black and white album, was San Francisco, Hollywood, Fire Island, and the song Village People.
Look what I brought.
Yeah, that's Go West. Actually,
this is the Go West album, given by a fan. Lisa Carlson loves you to death. Knows you from Georgie's. Made me swear I would bring this today, and hopefully she's on our show. We'll say hi to her.
Oh, that's awesome. That's beautiful. Actually,
San Francisco was the first song, right?
And that album was actually released, and then of course I quit the Anvil because I was leaving. I knew that when the album was recorded and we shot the cover with just models on it, and he said to me, you know, I don't want you to be seen anymore. I'm going to pay you to stay home because when the album drops, I want you suddenly to, when you reemerge. So for like 3 or 4 months, and then in June of 1977, we had the Anita Bryant Save Our Children campaign,
right?
Which then just pissed off so many gay people across the United States that everyone came out of the closet. And that's when the album dropped. And that album became the soundtrack of that movement.
It did.
Right, absolutely.
It totally
now,
did.
see, I grew up in the Midwest. I grew up in Indiana. And out there, when I was growing up, we never even heard the word gay. We never heard the word homosexual. I didn't even know that. I thought I was insane because I was attracted to the other boys. I didn't know there were other people out there. And to be quite honest, I did not get the Village People, that the Village People were gay at the time because I had no point of reference. But the fact that the Village People, you broke down so many social barriers in our country and in our culture. Did you realize what you were doing at the time, that you were a part of a historic movement?
I actually did not. I thought
right?
No, I'm Wendy. I thought it was going to be one album and I would be on to the next thing. Like in show business, you go from one thing to the next. And then suddenly when the album became a hit, suddenly they needed a group. And Neil Bogart of Casablanca Records said, well, the song is hot. It's like 37, 40 weeks on the Billboard charts. You need to put a group together. So we started auditioning in New York, in San Francisco, and I think it was Los Angeles, auditions to have American male stereotypes. But that was Jacques Morales.
That he was such a brilliant marketer, because I came to New York in '76. When you all hit, I was here. And I was a kid from the Bronx, and there were lots of kids from the Bronx and Brooklyn, and we so totally identified, right? It is a working class thing, right? You have your construction your cowboy, your army guy, the policeman, and the Native American, which at the time they called Indian. The Indian. It was
right.
It spanned basically all of America.
Right.
But the interesting thing was that the way you saw it in the Bronx, being a New Yorker, was the way the rest of the world saw it as well. Because like in Brazil, they have the indigenous Indians there. They have the construction workers, the police. So in every country around the world, people identify, because in their countries, they also had the same characters of people in their culture. But the thing is, the Casablanca Records, the genius of Neil Bogart, he wanted to, Jacques' concept was going to be a tribute to the gay culture. And because he was gay, his birthday was on the 4th of July. He loved everything about America. But it was Neil Bogart that said, no, we need to market this, for mainstream America. So that when the second album came out, Macho Man, we had auditions, and then all the guys showed up. And then, of course, Glenn with the big mustache comes to the audition. He sings Danny Boy. And he actually drove his motorcycle to the audition and parked it outside. But he was a toll collector at the Brooklyn Battery Tunnel.
Oh, my God.
He went to the audition on a dare. A friend of his said, they're putting a group together of guys with mustaches. You have a rocking mustache. I dare you to go and audition. And of course, I was sitting at the rehearsal hall when they were auditioning, and I just whispered, "This guy's the biker," because I knew what the leather look was like, because I worked at the Anvil, and then Randy Jones shows up to his audition, takes his hat off because it was sitting back here, and pushed his hair back. Howdy, y'all! And so he's from North Carolina.
Adorable. I love him.
So, through the audition, all the characters started falling into place.
Well, now, did they have preconceived idea of what characters they wanted, or did it just organically happen through the
organically? And then on the third album, on the second album, the soldier didn't have a uniform, and neither did the police officer. On the third album, which was the Juggernaut hit, YMCA, that's when the cop was fleshed out. Yeah. And then the soldier was also fleshed out.
Mm-hmm.
And look.
On this album, this is what you said, the second album?
I don't know. I don't see. I can't. That's actually the fourth.
That's the fourth album. Okay, by then everybody was in their character.
Right. And I can remember being and the same thing with YMCA. It wasn't. I needed one more song to finish the album. Right. Because we had a full album, and then suddenly there was a lunch break, and Jacques, with his French English, he came back from lunch and asked us, "Qu'est-ce que c'est EMCA?" And we looked at him like he had three heads.
Yes, what is YMCA?
What's that? And he said YMCA, and then someone said, "Oh, that means Young Man's Christian Association." And I swear to God, it was that quick. He said, "Young man, da, 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 da." And then the lead singer started writing the lyrics, and they wrote that in 10 minutes. And that was the last song on the album.
Oh my God!
When Bogart received the album, he heard the entire album. He said, "No, this is the hit," and he was right, because when he told me that they were going to do that song like Go West, I was always standing there like this. I had to take my glasses off. He would say, like, for Go West, "Shetty, I'm going to write a new song," and I would go. I would roll my eyes up like, "Oh God, what now?" And the same thing with Go West. He said that he heard in Pachelbel's canon in D minor the chord structure in that song, and that's how he came up with the song Go West.
Wow,
amazing!
Because he was a classical pianist, trained pianist, classical music.
Now, but again, so the Village People starts taking off. Next thing you know, I mean, like, how quick was that? Where all of a sudden now you're playing to sell out audiences and stadiums, and your music is being played around like Macho Man and In the Navy, and
it was everywhere. The Village People were everywhere.
But we were working so. Thanks for that, Tim. We were working so much. We were out on the road with a band, where they would set up in a discotheque the band on the floor, dance floor, with the monitors. And unlike Donna Summer, who was on television, we were like in the club. So we were doing bus and truck, and so we would travel down the Eastern Seaboard, and we would like stop in Atlanta, and then check into the hotel, get dressed, go to Peach's record store, then a radio station, then a sound check, then the show, and then by the time the evening was over, we were doing it all again. But the interesting thing was that as we were touring around the United States, at Cashbox and Record World and Billboard magazine, you could see like today they call algorithms. You could see the chart of the records going up because we were attacking on three fronts: a live show, television, radio, and in-store record appearances.
Right. Wow.
So we didn't know that we were really, really famous until we finally did television. And it was Dick Clark when we were.
Dick Clark, yeah, of course.
Dick Clark, he loved us from the beginning. And when he heard YMCA, he just fell in love with it. We were in Brazil touring, and our opening act was Felicia Allen. She had the Josephine Superstar, the album, and so we were told we were going to leave Brazil for a few days to go to Los Angeles to tape Dick Clark live at 5 from LA. And so, he had this habit that he would sit when he would start his show, sit with the kids in the audience in the bandstand. and he would do his intro. So we're standing there getting ready to do some, go over a rehearsal or two. And he said to us, guys, I want you guys to see what these kids are going to do for you. And then they played the chorus, and these kids jumped up and they did the arm thing.
Oh my God.
Right.
And we sort of went, okay, we're going to steal that.
Yeah.
And we did. But in the live show, we only do it at the end of the song.
Right.
And we've always, and the group was always gave credit to Dick Clark and American Bandstand. But that came from the dancers, that movement with the arms.
My God.
You know what's so amazing about what you're saying? Right to this day, you go to anywhere in this country, any function, a wedding, a bar mitzvah,
a Yankees game
to have like that in terms of sustaining. My God, who would have thunk?
And the entire stadium is going YMCA.
The interesting thing about the minute we went into lockdown in that January, well, it was in March, but in February, YMCA was inducted into the Library of Congress. But that fell through the cracks because everything we were watching on the news, it was with Italy and the Europe closed down and then China, Wuhan. So that didn't get any media attention at all. But the song was inducted in the Library of Congress, and now it's part of American history, music, culture.
Right.
I think it's really wonderful. Yeah.
Well, I just wanted to go over a few of these
comments. Yes.
Sylvia Polite says, "Hello, beautiful people." Estella Nena says, "Hi, Felipe."
That's my social media coordinator. Scotty
Valentine says, "I'm watching from London."
Hey,
Jack.
I love you.
John Jigan Griffin Teal says, "I love this. The Village People made an impact on me when I was a struggling, closeted gay teenager in the middle of rural Kansas. Brought me joy, dancing in my bedroom, and loved the Native American. My heart is so happy seeing you today. Feel like I'm listening to a friend."
Beautiful, John.
Really,
really.
You know, Tim, and the way you said that, and this gentleman described of what the group did, we didn't set out to be nothing but a party band. And basically, I think that the beauty of what they saw within the group, they not only saw the group as a whole, but everyone had a favorite in the group.
Yeah. No, totally. Mine was the construction guy. I'm sorry. You were adorable, but I don't know what it was about that construction guy. He just
David, hold on. He's a smart man. That one. He could read a book in a day. That one, like you.
Don't tell me that. You're gonna burst my bubble. I wanted him dumb and cute.
The thing is about that is that then we started hearing, like in San Francisco, about a lot of the gay community at large. The minute we started doing Merv Griffin and a lot of Tim Conway and all these TV shows, they wanted us to say we're homosexuals because at the time nobody talked about it. And I remember saying to a guy, "Well, I'm selling records and I'm selling my show. What I do at home and on my own time is my business," because I wasn't setting out to be an activist. Right. And when people would say to me, "I came out because of you," my response was, "I had nothing to do with it. You wanted it."
Yeah, absolutely. But you gave them the courage too. Absolutely.
Well, I would like to say that I would like to think that the group did, but again, the group didn't set out to be. I can't imagine if the group would explode today with social media the way it is. Maybe it would be too polarizing for the
there'd be so much stuff about stereotypes and political correctness.
A couple more comments. Our good friend Nick Lyon says, "One of the legendary artists of our generation, a wonderful human being and a dear friend. Thank you for helping us all get back on the dance floor with your new hit song, Dance Again.
Yes.
Congrats and much love." We're going to
play that. We love Nick. We love Nick.
We love Nick Lyon.
Lisa C. also says, "Shout out from the Jersey Shore."
Oh, that's Lisa Carlson who gave me the album to bring today. She knows you from Georgie's.
Okay. Yeah, Georgie's is like that's my safe zone. And in the video, in the credits, I thank my safety zone, my safe zone, which is Georgie's, Watermark, Paradise, Empress Hotel, a few places. And Georgie's is like our Cheers.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's what you said.
Bar. It's the local bar where everyone gets together, and then they're very powerful in the sense that when the community comes together, if something happens to someone in the family or someone's house burns down or a life is lost, they immediately go into action with the local community, and they raise money and they do fundraisers and what have you. So George's is very, it's a big, it might be a small bar, but it's a very powerful bar.
Right, nice. Well, now Cecily Williams, our good friend, says such fun stories.
Yeah.
Jack Falan says, yes, Jacques Morales, who discovered the Village People, and Felipe discovered my boyfriend at the time, Dennis Parker.
Oh,
we love Jack.
All right, we are 6 degrees of separation here today.
Well, Dennis wasn't my boyfriend.
He wasn't your boyfriend.
He was Jacques' boyfriend.
Ah,
Jacques, I think Jacques met him on Fire Island.
Really?
Yeah. And then he recorded an album, a beautiful album, Dennis Parker. I think it was called Fly Like an Eagle. But Jacques Morelli produced, along with the ex-lead singer Victor Willis. They wrote albums for like Dennis Parker, Patrick Juvet, Amanda Lear, Eartha Kitt. I think the Ritchie family. I could go on and on, just countless, groups. And Paris was like a second home. So when they were auditioning, all the guys, and then suddenly they had the 6, they had the 5, and then they were going to start rehearsing the first album with the new Macho Man album. They sent me off to Paris to go and choreograph 2 numbers with the Crazy Horse Saloon to get me out of the way. So to get me out of the way, because Jacques Morelli used to write music for the Crazy Horse Saloon. And so I was there, sent to Paris, and Jacques said, "Oh, Sherry, when you leave, you must take your outfits with you because you will be going out at night. They will be taking you out to the nightlife in Paris." And they did. They celebrated me. I met Grace Jones in one of the clubs.
I love Grace Jones.
So I then suddenly went out the group when I went to work in Paris. While they were putting the group together, I became suddenly like famous there, and I loved it. And I loved the nightlife over there.
Of course.
But those were the days when everybody used to get dressed and everyone used to go out, and then go to the Palace, and then on the Champs-Elysees there were clubs all over Paris. And the thing is that, and for that matter, throughout Europe, and I feel like we're not going back to that again. We're going back into dressing up again and what have you, and I love that.
I agree, and enjoying going out. Now, once again, you're listening to If These Walls Could Talk with your hosts, Wendy Stuart and Tym Moss, and our amazing and incredible guest, the one and only Felipe Rose from the Village People. Is there a name for that? Because I was going to ask you to do that anyway, but I'm so glad you did.
It's called a cipher under the falsetto.
Cipher?
And it was only one other kid in my neighborhood that used to do that sound. And so when we would get together in Brooklyn, we wouldn't call out each other's names to play. I wouldn't say, "Wendy, come on," I would just stand outside and then they would open the window and then we'd get together. So I mean, I don't know what it is. It's probably the octaves in my voice that I sang as a little kid.
But it's so distinctive. It's so Felipe.
I have to tell you, I've heard you do it in the privacy of my home. I tried it. I did. I can't get my tongue and my tonsils are not cooperating.
The interesting thing is that anywhere in the world, like even in Australia, and I've been there 39 times. Wow. The thing is that in clubs, anywhere in the world, anywhere I go, whenever I've made that I call it my tribal call, people automatically go, "Oh, Felipe's here."
Yeah.
Right.
And I do that, basically used to do that just to find where are my friends in the club. So it would pierce the music and people would hear it.
It's amazing.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to take a quick break and we're going to watch
The video.
your brand new video of your brand new song, Dance Again, by the one and
Yay!
only Felipe Rose.
Here we go.
Yes.
Locked up with our feelings like we're boxed up. Every minute seems so fucked up. Find our way out of this problem. When all of the light fades into the night, all the simple things will make us feel alright. Oh, move with me, groove with me. Let's all dance again. All the change we need starts in our feet. Let's all dance again. Don't touch. Keep your distance, be your own judge. Every instant's really too much. We can't help it, it's in our blood. When all of the light fades into the night, all the simple things will make us feel alright. Oh, move with me, groove with me. Let's all dance again. All the change we need starts in our feet. Let's all dance again. Dance, just dance, just dance. Let's all dance again. Dance, just dance, just dance. Let's all dance again. Take it to the world. New York, Miami, Los Angeles, Abu Dhabi, Ibiza, Bogota, Cuba, Havana, Puerto Rico, Morocco, Qatar. Said it feels so good. Come on, everybody, yeah, yeah. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Everybody, move with me, groove with me. Let's all dance again. All the change we need starts in our feet. Let's all dance again. Dance, just dance, just dance. Let's all dance again. Dance, just dance, just dance. Let's all dance again.
I get emotional watching that.
I would
know.
imagine.
Because I was getting through PTSD, and
Mhm.
so
Wow.
yeah, so like just hearing the song, I get full of emotion, but
Yeah.
it's
And
happy.
knowing
It's
for us,
happy emotion.
knowing the thinking behind it, like us talking about it today, it's an extremely powerful piece. You know, people will hear it and played in clubs. They're going to hear you perform it. But the reason I love
Mhm.
this show, I get the backstory. Tim and I get the backstory
Mhm.
behind it. And also, I remember what you were going through at the time.
Yeah.
So
you.
when I know we didn't play the whole thing, but when the final edit of the show comes out, which will be on Wendy Stuart TV on YouTube, Chauncey reinserts the entire video, so it'll be flawless and people will get to watch it that way. But it was making me
Yeah,
up now what that is. And then
Yeah.
when I thought about the fact that each person is in a different
From
place,
around the world.
right?
That's so cool.
And then it's all pieced together, because isn't that what happened to all of us during the
Mhm.
pandemic? All of a sudden, we were totally pieced together. I have to ask you, because I've been waiting the whole show. You really do so much for the LGBTQ community
Yeah.
and the Native American
Absolutely.
community. Can you just talk about some of the things? I want to share that with our audience.
thank you. Well, during the lockdown, I was also watching you doing your pandemic cooking as well.
God,
It was hilarious, and it was great. It was great.
you were so funny though. It was hilarious, but you were so funny. One of the first
And
things you wrote.
Chauncey spinning music. So
Yeah.
you know, then the video is dedicated to all the DJs around the world. The thing is, I tried to give back, and just lend a little bit of myself, because through my history and in the business and the entertainment industry, especially with Village People, I've received so much from so many people around the world. That what can you do if you're asked, would you help us with this charity or with this cause? And so not only with the Native American Indian community, with us, I set up scholarships through the American Indian College Fund.
I love that.
Thank you. And then last year I worked, the year before, did some work with God's Love with Delivery New York,
Right.
and was part of the parade, and I was on the float. So I just feel that it's called service. You know,
Right.
there's the empathy part and the part that you feel strongly and passionate about, and then there's the giving part, but then the service, when you serve your community, whether it's here, whether it's I'm traveling somewhere else, or just like even with Karen Schwartz, she's a neighbor that lives here in Asbury Park in Neptune, and on Easter Sunday the year before last, I hosted an hour where she's a music teacher. So she did her living room concert. I hosted on Facebook.
I love
And
it.
the money that was being raised for that 1 hour, we raised $1,000, and it went to Asbury Park Dinner Plate, where one dinner could feed one dinner for $7. One dinner, the $7 could feed a family of 4.
Oh,
So
nice.
$1,000 dinner. And that was geared towards a lot of the waiters and waitresses and people that worked in the restaurants, because suddenly there was no restaurants, everything was closed. So you know, moving forward and where I am, I think that comes basically from what I've received so much from so many people around the world, that I just have. I love giving, because the feeling I get from doing so,
It's obvious.
you can't buy that and pop it open in a can or a
Absolutely.
bottle. You know, the feeling, the euphoric feeling, and many artists are like that. They give.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's the thing about our industry, you know, that really separates us from a lot of people. I want to know, what's your key to survival, Felipe? And I'm asking that truly because you have transcended freaking decades, and all of us have seen people come and people go, and people be burnt out, and people lose everything. I know your career has not been 100% cakewalk, because nobody's is, but look at you. You know, look at what you're doing.
Here.
You have a new show coming out, which I want to talk about. What's the secret in you that makes you keep going?
Oh, thank you for that. I think that, again, it's just survival. A lot of people don't know that the group came to a tragic halt after my 40th anniversary world tour, where the ex-lead singer and the producers fought a battle really bad. And I got caught in the middle because suddenly the trademark was gone. And so suddenly, something that you don't prepare, you're 40 years in the making, and suddenly it's taken away. And the thing is that I didn't share or talk about any of the litigation on social media, because if you put it out there, you make it everyone's business. So
thank you.
The only thing that I did was just keep it close, tight with my tight circle and family and friends, and everyone knew what was going on. And the only thing I could do was sort of, here it is. It's not how you fall, it's how you get up.
Yeah.
So
I totally love that. Not how you fall, it's how you get up, right?
Yeah, I just did this. But during that, in 2017, when suddenly there was another group that popped up and we were trying to fulfill the contractual agreements, the Native American Music Awards, Ellen Bello, the director, saw that and called me and said, "What's going on?" And oh my God, I was like hysterical, crying. She said, "Come back home to the Nammies. We need you." I said, "I don't have any new material." She said, No. We'll give you the red carpet. Just come back home." And so I did. I hosted the red carpet. I did it 2 years in a row in 57 minutes before the opening. But the thing is that it's really the people that you surround yourself with, really good people and people that will support you.
Absolutely, no matter what.
It's what holds you steady and keeps you. And of course, being prayerful and just really just I'm a survivor because I guess I'm a New Yorker,
Yeah, right. Now, one thing I just want to point out is throughout the whole show today, right behind you,
yes,
are our albums on the wall. I love that. Can you talk about those just briefly?
Well, yeah, thank you. Those are basically given to us.
Wow.
When the
love that.
Oh, when the records either become platinum or gold, and they're from various countries around the world. And I have a cabinet over there with 5 Native American Music Awards, an American Music Award, a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and then all these other things that I collect, crystals from around the world and other native Kachina dolls. So my cabinet looks like a small museum.
Yeah, I love it. Well, now I also saw on Facebook that you were setting up a table for winter, for your projects in the winter, for artwork. What kind of artwork? Yeah, what were you planning on doing?
Well, I majored in art because in 2007, I really had a really bad stage injury, and I got back on stage the next day, and I sprained my ankle, and the next day got back on stage and fractured 2 toes because of the ankle was swollen. And then suddenly I was taken to a hospital in Sarasota, in Disney World. If you get injured in Disney World, do not go to Children's Celebration Hospital. Never.
Because there's no celebration for you.
It is one of the most contaminated hospitals. I picked up MRSA there. And when I got ready to leave to go to Sarasota, I felt like this stabbing of knives.
Wow.
I called the biker, the second biker, Eric Anzalone, to call his father. He's a doctor. And suddenly they took me to meet Dr. Harold Vogler. The road manager packed me up. And I went. The cars went that way. We were doing 9 shows every 3 days throughout Florida. And then suddenly he took the wrappings off, and my foot was in a bowl of water. And I picked up MRSA. And I had hours to live. So I was in
Tim. That's unreal.
It was like something from outer space. Like this thing on my foot was, and I could hear when we put a pan under my foot and he put my foot down. I could hear the oh, never mind. The bag broke and you can hear all that coming out of there. They hit
my
me with morphine. I woke up 3 days later, and I was in the emergency room, and they all had hazmat suits on, and I could see all the lights and all that, and I could hear the
Scary.
the CDC doctors say, "Oh no, just cut the foot off at the ankle." And this Harold Vogler, Dr. Harold Vogler, which I absolutely love, he said, "No, this guy's healthy." Excuse me, this guy's healthy. No, we're gonna save his foot. So they gutted the foot out. They stuck a wound back in there, and I was in the hospital for 3 months on morphine, for a month, which I loved.
Oh, yeah, I can see how. Yeah,
And
right.
That's
they-
the upside.
and how do you wean someone from that?
Right,
You wean
from
someone
the
from
morphine.
morphine, they give you Dilaudid, and then they were on a PICC line. And the minute they put it in the PICC line, it hits your brain that quick. And within minutes, I would cry, press the button. I want some more. I want more. They were like, "No, we can't give it to you," because it was painful. And then the rehabilitation process, I had to get a private jet to take me home with some friends to bring me back after 3 months, and I couldn't walk.
Wow.
This is an ordeal. I can't believe what I'm hearing. No one knows this.
And they told me you will never be on stage again. And I went to rehabilitation for a year and a half, and then I started learning how to walk again. I pushed myself, and then I had some post surgeries after that, and then some kick-ass plastic surgery because I had some good insurance, which I exhausted for the lifetime of the insurance. But then my first flight going to Los Angeles from that episode was when I met the guys for the star in the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Wow.
That's when wow. Boy, your life, honey, has been so star-crossed. I mean, the stuff that you're telling us here today, really huge inspiration for people.
But there's still a lot more, but I can't reveal all of it because I want to work on my book.
Absolutely.
No, the book's got to get out there. I want to hear about your upcoming show too.
Yeah.
Well, the show is called the Disco Chronicles, and my segment producer Jimmy Carter, not the president, but I call him Jim Carter. He's my segment producer. He was pitching for a few years. Oh, you should do a podcast show. And I was like, oh, I don't know. I'd rather talk about something that I know very well.
Right.
And then suddenly I thought, during the lockdown, that disco made such a huge comeback with Dua Lipa, with Levitation, BK7, with Dynamite, Donna Summer remixes, playing like all over the world. And I thought, well, let's call it the Disco Chronicles. And so basically, I pulled the curtain. The first season, I pulled the curtains back on the good and the bad and the ugly of the disco era.
Reality,
So the first season had 6 episodes. The first guest was the controversial Steve Dahl, who was responsible for the Kaminsky record-burning disco suck movement, where they threw albums in Kaminsky Park at the baseball stadium. And so when Jimmy asked me, well, I think you should I would love to, have Steve Dahl. And I really didn't know who he was. And then when he told me, I said, oh, he'll never be on the show. And why would he even want to talk to me? And Jimmy said, you don't know. Well, the guy said yes. And it was a wonderful interview.
Go figure, right?
And then, at the end going towards the end of the interview, he came clean with things that he didn't know, that he was ignorant about disco music, that it was really more of a New York underground music for gays, blacks, and Latinos. And so, it was like burning records was like burning books, and it was like a racist move. And he agreed that he was ignorant regarding that. And so we fastly, in the interview, became friends because we're both the same age. But back then, we would have never come together to talk.
Right.
To sit down and talk. So basically, we end up in the end of the interview. I said, well, you might as well sing with me. You know this song. Young man, So he's taking a little bit of that. And then in episode 6, the lovely Linda Clifford closed out season 1 with the 6th episode. And we've toured for many, many years, and she's just amazing. And someone that is just so full of energy and so beautiful, and what a great talent and singer that she is. If people don't know who she is, if my friends could see me now, Red Light. I mean, there's
I love that song.
A lot of music. And now we're starting season 2.
Very
wonderful,
cool.
Wonderful.
And hopefully it's going to be moved to a network in January. But I'm not quite sure. I'm still reviewing the contract and all the paperwork before I commit fully. But it's on my YouTube channel, Felipe Rose official YouTube channel. And all of the episode 1, all of the first season, episodes 1 through 6 are on the channel. And then we're going to begin, hopefully next week. It's you guys, when you're doing your show, do you book ahead, like guests, like?
Yeah,
usually.
I'm like 6. I try and work 6 weeks ahead of time.
6 weeks ahead.
There's always the thing that where you're booking performers, stuff comes up. So you always want to be ready with, other people. We're all of us are blessed to know, my God, so many talented people.
We do. We actually do. And it's not just the artists, there's producers. I actually just received a wonderful response back from the wonderful and, oh my God, amazing producer, Michael Zager. Let's all chant. So he's going to be on the show. So I'm going to be interviewing DJs. I'm also going to be interviewing people that love disco, why they love disco. And why
Studio 54 girl. That's me.
And why disco still has a stronghold on the world today.
No,
yeah, I was there from the beginning, and I can tell you everything about it from the very, very beginning.
Yeah. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in to If These Walls Could Talk with your hosts, Wendy Stuart and Tym Moss, our amazing guest, Felipe Rose from the Village People, who I cannot wait until your book comes out so we can have you come back on the show.
Yeah.
Well, you're welcome to come back anytime.
Yeah, because
we gotta sit down and I gotta sit down and write it, and that's gonna take either months or maybe into the next year. But I mean, the process has already begun, and I really don't want to make the book or do the book about the group, as more about my life, where the group will be, in there in part in maybe a chapter or 2, but my life is far more richer.
That was a part of your life, absolutely.
Right.
But
now you and I we performed at an event earlier in the summer, which was
this summer.
That was so much fun, and hopefully we will be doing more since you will be back out on stage promoting your new song, Dance Again.
That's when I saw it. That's when I met you this summer, Tim.
Yeah.
It was
actually in person. That was our first time, I think, in person.
Right, exactly, in person.
Yeah.
And I told you something. When you came out with that song, I said, all I want to do is to be able to dance to it. And there I was with you a week ago, right? Dancing to it.
We have the handsome Robert Sosa to thank him for that evening.
Yes.
Beautiful, Robert Sosa.
So now, just in conclusion, how can people find out more about Felipe Rose?
Yeah.
Your contact info.
Thank you. People can go to my official website and sign the guest book. They can also find me on
FelipeRose.com.
On Instagram as well, Felipe Rose official. Also on Twitter, Felipe Rose 7, which is the official Felipe Rose page. And then if you friend me, I have to friend you. I can't. You just can't.
I wouldn't do that.
But
you just can't friend me and suddenly you appear.
Yeah, but I think people can follow you on Facebook, I think.
Yeah, but I'm pretty, I like people. I'm a people person, as Wendy is and as you are, where some of the guys in the group used to always be kind of shy with the public. Not me. I was always like,
Felipe, you are a Capricorn through and through. We're one day apart.
January 12th.
Well, okay, so on the 15th, okay, we came up in the exact same time, same sign, same everything. One more handle I want for you. Your YouTube channel is so people can tune in. What is your YouTube channel?
It is official, Felipe Rose official YouTube channel, and on there are a bunch of other things and the 6 episodes of the Disco Chronicles. And you have a birthday, share a birthday with Lisa, and also Ray Simpson, the second police officer of Village People that was with me for
so funny.
about 15th. Yeah.
That is fabulous. Felipe Rose. Oh, I just love and adore
I know,
you.
me too.
Mwah, mwah.
What a
Thank you
great
guys so much.
So much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chelsea. We're going to see each other, before that, but hopefully in January for the Glam Awards.
We'll see each other for the Glam
Absolutely.
Awards, but there'll be
We'll
stuff
all hang
happening
out.
before that. So we'll hang out
Absolutely.
before that.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.